Your news for the state of Tennessee in 10 minutes. Tennessee in 10 is made possible by Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Amanda Hara, WSMV in Nashville. We've just learned that dive teams are set to resume a search within the next hour for a missing 12-year-old in Clarksville. Police say they were called to help with a water rescue at Billy Dunlop Park. A father reported his son missing just before 2 yesterday afternoon. He told first responders his son was last seen in the river. Several nearby parks are now temporarily closed.
I'm Whitney Turner in the WVLT newsroom. A man is dead after falling from a boat in Campbell County. The Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency responded to a private dock on Saturday. They say a 75-year-old man fell into Norris Lake. He was pulled from the water and bystanders helped give CPR. The man later died at the hospital. The TWRA says this is the 8th deadly boating incident this year.
Tennessee school voucher program just opened last week. Parents say they've already been having issues. The state is giving $7,000 vouchers to about 20,000 students to help them pay for private school tuition. The Tennessee Department of Education says it got more than 33,000 applications in the first few hours, and that all those applications overwhelmed the system. Some parents say the confirmation emails that they got had the wrong student's name.
I got a second email that said, "Dear Jennifer, thank you for enrolling your child that you've never heard of in this program." So I got a confirmation email with a child's name who I've never heard of, I'm not related to, and was definitely not my child.
Education leaders say the issue with the email server has been fixed and that every family has now received a corrected email confirmation. The department also says that all personal information is secure. A March of Dimes report puts Tennessee in the very high risk category for pregnant women and new mothers. The distance to get care, one of the problems for women living in rural counties. In the report, Tennessee had the highest 5-year rate of maternal deaths. 166 mothers died from 2018 to 2022. Officials say it's even more shocking that 76% of pregnancy-related deaths in 2022 were preventable.
It's gut-wrenching, and I came across that statistic. My oldest daughter was living here and she was pregnant, and her going, and she's, she was like, "Mom, did you know about these numbers?" And she's like, "This is why I'm so, I'm scared and I'm an hour away from the doctor."
Doctors say other causes of maternal deaths include heart conditions, mental health issues, and infections. On Friday, a judge dropped the charges against a Sumner County school bus driver who was involved in a crash last month. THP says the driver lost control and went into a creek, then hit a bridge, causing the bus to flip on its side. The driver and 5 students were hurt. She was cited for failing to exercise due care, but a judge dropped the charges. She could get 3 points against her license if the Department of Safety does an independent review and finds her at fault.
There is a push for education about a weed that's found all over our state that can potentially be deadly for humans and animals. This is a warning that's gone out before, but it's picking up steam on social media right now. Poison hemlock is an invasive weed brought to the country from Europe, originally intended as a garden plant, but it turned into a deadly overgrowing weed. Recognizable by the white flower clusters and purple splotching on the stem, poison hemlock can be found in fields, roadsides, and drainage ditches. While there isn't currently a plan to work on statewide efforts to get rid of the plant, forestry officials are now pushing to make sure people know about it.
So the most common way that people end up with poison hemlock poisoning is by accidentally eating it or ingesting it. And so obviously don't eat plants that you don't know. But the other aspect is that sometimes people will go to, burn a weed patch, and that can actually get the gases into the air, and you can actually ingest it in that way.
Well, if you come into contact with poison hemlock, they say wash your hands and clothes immediately. That's the best practice. And if you start showing symptoms of poisoning, call poison control or get to an ER.
Well, most folks across the mid-state are under a first alert weather day today. First alert meteorologist Stefano DiPietro has a look at the timing and the big risks.
And we have another first alert weather day coming our way tomorrow, Amanda, one that's actually more elevated across a lot of the state. So we have a level 2 out of 5 right now that really goes right across Middle Tennessee, up and down the I-24 corridor, extending from southern Kentucky down through the Chattanooga area. We still have a little bit of a severe threat elsewhere as well across the state. So it's certainly a day to stay weather ready. Now, tomorrow, the severe threat is heightened across much more of the area. 2 out of 5 in far east Tennessee. I mean, out toward the Smokies, a 1 out of 5, so a little less of a threat the farther east we go. Middle Tennessee, West Tennessee, though, level 3 out of 5, meaning not only is the severe risk more likely, but it's also more likely that the thunderstorms are more widespread, whereas today things will stay isolated, mostly to Middle Tennessee. The farther west and east that we are, the less we'll end up seeing overall. So that's really the main area of concern through Middle Tennessee, Nashville, Cookeville, and all the way down through parts of Chattanooga. We get out toward Knoxville, the Smokies. There'll be an isolated shower or thunderstorm back toward Jackson, Memphis, and Tiptonville. Not much more than a passing rain shower as we head through today, maybe a leftover thunderstorm at this point. Drying things out tonight through our morning tomorrow. Isolated thunderstorm early in the day. Many of us are dry, though, up until the late part of the afternoon. Here's a line of thunderstorms developing back in West Tennessee. That happening around 2, 3, 4 o'clock. It's along the I-65 corridor and approaching the I-65 corridor in Middle Tennessee right around dinner time, gaining some intensity as it does so, and then weakening as it heads out toward the plateau. Slowly, though, remember, that severe threat will continue into the overnight hours out in far east Tennessee. We should quickly dry things out, though, for the rest of this week. Beyond that rain, though, Amanda, comes a cool down for the rest of the week.
Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris says his team is no longer required to attend county commission meetings. His office sent a letter saying his administration team will go to meetings on their own accord. He says his decision is based on what he calls verbal abuse and verbal assaults during those sessions. The county mayor says the behavior of some commissioners has become intolerable. Commissioners are now being asked to email their questions to Harris's administration team. The chairman says he hopes that they can all treat each other with respect and professionalism. Tennessee's former Speaker of the House is at home right now while he waits to learn how long he'll spend in prison. A jury found Glenn Cassada and his former Chief of Staff, Kate Cothran, guilty in a federal corruption trial. Both face 19 federal charges of conspiracy, fraud, bribery, and money laundering. Cothran was found guilty on all charges, Cassada on all but 2. Prosecutors say the 2 orchestrated a scheme to hide their involvement in a company that got thousands of dollars from a state-funded constituent mail program. They'll be sentenced in September and face up to 20 years in federal prison.
A cat in Gatlinburg is going head-to-head with bears, and it's happened multiple times. The cat's owners have caught it all on camera. Take a look at this. The owners call her Fat Cat. They say she showed up to their front door after the 2016 wildfires. Fat Cat has had several encounters with black bears over the years, from inside the home to outside on the porch. But despite being much smaller, Fat Cat is usually the aggressive one.
She turns into, I don't know, a tiger, a lion, whatever, and just goes after her. The biggest one is when she's slapping the glass. Then we know there's one on the deck.
She adds, if they see a bear outside, they do try to bring in the cat, but they feel Fat Cat can handle her own when needed. In the WVLT newsroom, I'm Whitney Turner. Back to you.
Don't mess with Fat Cat. Thanks for watching Tennessee in 10.